Hello, and welcome to another edition of Simply Free Little Talk. Today, my special guest is the creative artist author, Miss Jesica. Miss Jesica is here on Galveston Featured because she is a Galvestonian by choice. And so I am so glad that she's on the show today to tell you about her book. And I hope you can see the book. It's called First Moon Manual, excuse me. But we're going to talk about the moons. If you can see the creative designs here with the crescent moons, she's gonna explain all that to you. But on Galveston Featured, I just want you to know that this book is incredible. She's going to tell you how she brought the book to me today, and in less than 3 hours, I have really gotten a lot of information, and so I know that it's going to bless those that have this book. I love her instruction. This is a well put together book. So, without further ado, let me bring on the creative author. She is truly an artist herself. Hello, Miss Jesica. How are you doing?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me today. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here because I read. I'm an avid reader. I love to get facts. I love to be empowered, and I love instructional teaching. And you have done all of that in this book.
That
All
was
of that and more.
that
And more.
was the goal. Thank you.
That was the goal where you achieved it. You have 5 stars. If I had to give you stars between 1 and 5, you got them all.
Well, please go on Amazon and do that. No.
Oh, I sure will. I definitely will. Did you guys hear that? That you can purchase a book? Can you hold your book up so that people can see it? Because I know that my green screen is doing its own little thing right now. Yes, it's beautiful. I want to, as you're holding up, it says First Moon Manual. Yeah, we want to see your pretty face. But if you see the designs, everything from front to back of this book, it has purpose. It's educational, it's inspirational. It is totally a book that all women should have. And I think it's a great present for a father to present to his daughter. And we'll get into that reason why that was my conclusion. But it's like a scrapbook concept. Can you show them again? Like just
Yeah.
open the book to any page, actually. Well, even on the cover, it has like the little tape there. It's like someone's pieced it together, but of course, very neatly pieced it together. And I love the I ams. Yes, I love the I ams. Yes, yes, yes. So let's get into it. Miss Jessica,
Yes, ma'am.
this book was inspired by
My daughter. So, as she came upon her first period or her first moon, uh, I felt like I wanted her to have a very authentic experience, and I didn't want her to go her entire life hating her
yeah.
period. I wanted her to embrace it and embrace it as part of her, and love herself through it.
Mhm.
So I feel like society has kind of put this negative stigma on our periods, our bodies, and everything. And I wanted her to have a different experience. So I started to talk about this, and a very good friend of mine, Dr. Vivian Hernandez, who is a BOI, um,
Okay.
she talked about a first moon party and kind of brought that idea up. So we were during COVID and I couldn't have the party. So instead, I reached out to family and friends and got these letters. And through these letters, as I started to read them with my daughter, we were in tears. I mean, we just cried at the beautiful messages that people were sending her. And I thought that everyone, every girl, every woman, every child needs this experience. They need to be able to
Yes.
use these words that encourage them and tell them to love themselves and embrace everything about themselves.
Embrace the body, embrace the opportunity to love yourself. That's why I love it. I believe in self care, but I'm going to tell you and commend you. You have taken self love to another level. You're killing this book in a positive way. When I say you nailed it, you nailed it. You're killing the concept of embracing yourself, embracing your body. and looking even at, I like the way your terminology of the full moon. That's why I kept saying full moon, but it's the first moon manual.
Yes.
I love that. I love the concept because you are teaching us as females. We don't have to be shamed and not say our monthly friend, or it's that time of the month in a negative manner. We can actually embrace it and say, I am entering into my womanhood. I love that you say it's a journey for the womanhood. And so tell us, I want to go to the letter that you wrote your daughter that's so, put together in this book. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I see why that was a tearjerker there. God, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to make my daughter promises that we were going to be the kind of women that lifted other women and supported other women and
Yes.
allowed ourselves to be who we were with no judgment, no
Mm,
negativity, just no nastiness, and just
yes.
love each other, right? Like,
Love.
yes,
I love that. I mean, I love it because we should love each other. We've been commanded to love, but it is nice that you are being used to reinforce the love walk. The love walk. That's simple. That's simple. So I want to talk about, we just talked about the letters to your daughter, but this book is also one of empowerment, body positivity. We said that, and embracing you.
yeah,
So you have letters from all over the world, pretty much, from
yes.
Spain as far as the US, as people have written beautiful letters to their daughters. Just talk about a few of them.
So when I started to reach out to women, if I've reached out to 10 women, I've reached out to 100, and
Mhm.
this was the response I got, was these women, and I feel like their messages that came forward was what we needed to hear, right? I
Yes.
always feel like when you align and you have an idea of what you want, then the right people will show up. So even
Yes,
though a
definitely.
lot of women said no, I just kept asking and going. And so many things aligned. So one woman didn't have a daughter and she said, "Oh, I'm not, this isn't for me." And I said, "No, it is, because what you are a woman, what would you tell yourself? What did you wish your mom told you?" And
Yes.
her letter in here, it's Erin Lee, and she's actually my editor as well. Her letter is so moving, and it's about embracing your femininity. Like, for a long time she talks about how she did not embrace her femininity, and
Wow.
she tried to fight it because she was kind of a tomboy and wanted to be
Mhm.
like not seen as weak, or all the negative things that get
Mm.
attributed to women. But when she came into her power was when she embraced her femininity.
Yeah.
um, Another woman, I was looking for a couple of quotes for page fillers,
Yeah.
and I came across her poetry. It was period poetry, and it's just a couple of lines. There's 2 pages in there that are just a couple of lines about just loving what you're going through.
Mhm.
And when I reached out to her, she allowed me to put the quotes in the book, the small poems. And it turns out she's right up in Katy, Texas. Like, she's like right down.
Wow.
And I had no idea. I had never seen her stuff, but until I started to kind of uncover these things, I got connected with these amazing, amazing women who have just the best things to help other women.
Mhm.
Just and it's been
Wow.
an amazing journey, like, really.
I totally concur with you because there is a poem from a poet that at the time she submitted her work to you, she wasn't, I'm not going to say she wasn't as famous, but she hadn't been recognized to the degree that she is today. And so
Yes.
she is now in your book.
Yes, so I knew Angelica back in Utah, and she was recognized widely for a poem she did and they had done a YouTube video about it, and it kind of went, kind of viral.
Yeah.
And she was coming to schools and saying, like, doing workshops, writing workshops, and all, and slam poetry things. So I reached out to her about probably 2 years ago now, and she told me she would do something, but she kind of kept putting me off. And I
Mhm.
I just kept asking her. I'm like, you said you want to do this.
Yeah.
Time. Oh yeah, I'll get it to you. Okay, you said you. And so then finally, she got me this beautiful poem. I mean, if you read the poem, it's so. It's so beautiful, and I was like, the minute I read it, I just waterfall, right? Like I'm just crying because her message was so wonderful about being who you are and whoever you want to be, no matter what, right? And I had kind of been following her, and she asked me to write her a recommendation letter to be poet laureate of Ogden, and I did, and I didn't hear back from her. And then we started connecting again, and she was a little unhappy with her job. She felt like she was meant for more. She didn't think she had got the poet laureate position, and within a week, so I said, if you're unhappy with your job, you need to leave your job, right? Like,
yes,
so much talent. Like this woman is so talented with her slam.
Yes, absolutely, she is.
And I said, just leap, and the universe will catch you. And she quit her job, and the very next day they called her and they said, Angelica, you are Ogden's new poet laureate. We'll announce it in July. And I was like, it was amazing because the original date, I kept putting off publishing because I kept trying to get more letters or get things put together, get an editor, like all the things just kind of kept coming up. Yeah. So I hadn't published yet. And then when I said, I was like, we're going to publish this in July. I moved the date up to June, but in July, and she called me, she said, I'm going to be poet laureate in July. Like, who would have known a year and a half ago when I asked her to write this beautiful poem for us that she would be poet laureate? Like, it's just all like aligned.
That's perfect. There's a comment that said, kudos to Jesica for staying on top of the lady. They're referencing her and said they're so proud of you. And I totally agree with the comment of kudos to you. I'm extremely impressed with this book. And I've read a lot of books I don't like a lot of love stories, but I do like novels, but I love educational books. This is truly one of, I would say, I'm not even gonna say my top 10, my top 5. Why you've really put this book together. And I mean that. You start off with how to even use the book. That's rare. People may make suggestions, and no, they do like their own affirmations, like we hope that you get this from the book or that, but you tell us step by step, whether it was you purchased it or it was given to you as a gift, but here's the steps of using the book. Then you give us this beautiful welcome. Then it goes into the dedication letters. It's a workbook. This entire book is also, it's a workbook, it's a manual, it's a planner, it's a calendar, it's a tracker. I even love, she has sticky notes in here, guys, that you can write down. Like today I experienced maybe, a heavier flow than normal. Yes, yeah, the sticky. I was like, wow, feeding the flow. She speaks about that. Now, the page that I had to make sure that I just put a little Denny in here so we can go back, so I can go back to it. Pads and tampons. Pads and tampons. She said, let it flow. Let's talk about female products. That's crucially important, guys, because everything that's on the market is not safe for us to use.
No, and I don't know that's talked about enough. And it's, when we talk about things that are good for the environment, and we're putting these things in our body, they're a little bit more expensive. And I know that the access isn't there for everyone. And I think that part of my mission and calling is to help get that access. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who are working towards that right now. And I'm so proud to see that women are and men are helping period poverty and all these things. But we need to take it a step further. We need to demand that the things that are used to put in our bodies are healthy and they're not full of toxins. It's just
very crucially important. Very crucially important. I just wanted to go into this sanitary pads, confessing teen fears. That's crucially important because I can think of some stories, personal stories that I experienced and stories I've heard of other ladies, how, they didn't know what happened to to the tampon, or or they were in fear of inserting. So to be to have a book that you have composed so eloquently. I mean, this is well put together. It covers every thought we've had. I'm just speaking very transparently. Every fear we've had, every female should have this book. This book should be in every health clinic, in every teen clinic, in every high school. No, let's go back to middle school. To middle school, there should be another book you should create for elementary students to prepare those girls and boys to be sensitive to those processes, because there's changes in the body. And it was such an embarrassing thing, if you spotted your pants, or your dress, something, you didn't want no one to see you like that.
Oh, let me tell you that the period conversation in my school was so horrifying. I was in gym one time, and a bunch of people were talking. The girl said, "Oh, I can smell that somebody's on their period," and I was mortified. Yes. I was mortified, and I then told I wouldn't dress out for gym. I told my mom I believed that we should be using the money for books or something silly like that, because I was so embarrassed, and I couldn't even partake in gym anymore because these girls were so ugly about it. And I thought, and looking back on that experience, like, I don't want any of my kids to go through that. I don't want my daughter to go through that. I don't want the boys to hear horrible things about this. Like, we need to be more accepting and loving towards each other as we're going through these changes.
Absolutely. Well, education is truly the key, but the application of what we're taught is the crucial step for the success to manifest. Because you can tell me all day long what to do, but if I don't apply it, if I don't make it applicable to my life and then pass that message on to someone else, that's why I'm stressing, and I'm saying this again for educators out there, let's push to get Jessica's book in the schools, and not just on a shelf collecting dust, but let's get the teen health clinics to hold classes and sessions, and call Jessica back into the school system and allow her to present the book in a way that people will understand. Because I'll be transparent. I told Jessica this today. We were sitting on my front porch. I don't mind being honest. I recall my mother was very transparent with me, and we spoke candid about everything, from a little bitty girl to, the day that she crossed over. And I remember my mother preparing me for my first moon to experience. And so I wasn't afraid when it happened, but I was furious because it happened 3 days before my big birthday party, where I had already decided to wear my little white pants. And I was like, oh man, I can't wear it. I shared with Jessica today that I was at a restaurant. I came out and, I told my mom and my sister, started my period, and I hate it. And so Jessica's book actually will assist someone, so you won't have the same reaction I had, like being upset. But I know ladies that were terrified. They thought they were dying because nobody talked to them about what was going to happen to their body. So kind of explain some of the, have the letters. We have the letters. Let me go back. We have the letters to our daughters. We have reflections. So kind of speak on why the reflections are so important in that, because that was my reflection.
Yeah. So each letter addresses something about the period or the cycle, or accepting yourself for who you are. And so we wrote reflection questions on that. But what's really important is at the end, during the tracking part. So there's calendars.
Yes.
Right? You can
That's
fill
where
in.
I'm at.
And then there's reflection questions after. And I was trying to be very intentional. I came up with these questions, and some of them are like foods that make me feel good and foods that make me not feel good. And what are my hardest emotions to deal with? Because we're constantly told as women we have to, like, if we're in a bad mood, we must be on our period. But that's not true. You can just
that is not true.
It doesn't have to be because you're on your period. And the most important, which I didn't realize, was any unusual pain. And a friend of mine was looking through this, and she just looked at that and she said, "Oh my gosh, had I had this,
Yeah.
I could have been diagnosed with endometriosis a lot
Absolutely.
than I was."
Absolutely. Mhm.
And it's so important that these young women are talking about their pain and what they're going through, because we're just told, "Oh, you're in your period, you have cramps, it's fine." But it's not. Some of these pains are very unusual. Your period shouldn't be super uncomfortable. It could be because what you're eating, or what you're doing, or as we talked about earlier, you might need to be exercising more,
Yes, you
or
did.
all kinds of things. So having pain isn't always just a natural thing.
Not at all. Not at all. And the misconception that you and I spoke about earlier is also, even with sex, we say, oh, we're having pains because maybe he's large or whatever, but it's not that. Maybe it may be something medical.
Right.
And this stood out to me. Any unusual pain, just as your friend, she noticed that as well. Women suffer from fibroids, all kind of medical challenges that could have been avoided, if they just would have been tracking. You have a year tracking in this book that helps some young lady that really tracks and monitor her body, the changes that she occurs from month to month. That's so crucially important.
I felt
Again, this book is a medical doctors, not just say one doctor. OBGYN doctors need to purchase this and give this as a gift to their first time 13-year-olds and older. I really do believe that. Because had I had this book, even though my mother did talk to me, which was even unusual back then, and with my age, many parents did not talk to their children. They
right.
just did not. I'm telling you, I know some young ladies who thought they were dying because blood was flowing from their body.
And that has been a constant thing I come across, is my mom never talked to me. My mom never talked to me.
No one talked to
And
me.
as I come across that, I'm like, how did this
Wow, I know.
What do you mean your mom didn't talk to you? And so it became even more important to spread this message. I mean, grown women have looked at this and said, like, I need this book still. I need to remember that I love myself, and I need to accept myself for who I am, and embrace my period. And I had a really rough. My periods were spotty. They were months apart, and we're told it's normal, but it is normal. Like some women, like I was every 3 or 4 months, and that was a normal thing.
Wow.
But mine was very painful, but it probably shouldn't have been. And there was some things going on. There was some medical things that needed to be addressed. So, but I didn't track it. I didn't know.
That's why I'm so impressed with the year tracker. Not just 1 to 2 months, but 12 months of a tracking system. Do you know how valuable that is? Because that's first time for this lady. She does not know, is it going to be 21 days, 28 days? She may be a 32-day person between her cycle. Right. So we have to track it to learn it. So let's go to the I am. I'm at I am determined.
Hey,
I love the I ams.
So I wanted to be very intentional with this book so that any girl who picked it up would feel like it related to her. I've heard a lot of women tell me that when they pick something up, they didn't feel like it was for them, right?
Yes.
And so when I reached out to people, I tried to reach out to as many different women as I could. And everywhere from college degree to no college degree, business owner to a corporate person, everything. And so when I reached out to, her name is Akemi Davis, and she's out of Corpus Christi, Texas. I've been following her, and I love her art. She does some live videos on Instagram. And
how much I am brave. Go ahead.
And I pulled up, I asked her, I said, can you contribute anything? A letter. I asked everyone. I'm compiling letters, poetry, art, whatever you want to contribute, you can contribute. And she was another one that kind of kept, she's like, I want to do this, but I'm busy. I want to do this, but I'm busy. And finally, she said, hey, I have 26 affirmations I had done that are through the alphabet. Do you think you could use those? And I said, of course, we can use whatever. So she did them, and I saw her art. I was like, oh, this is wonderful because I'm a big affirmation person. I am compassionate. I am useful. I am creative. All the things. So,
Yeah.
so when she sent it to me, I was able to write the affirmations for young girls or women to read along with the art. And it's just, I think it turned into a beautiful collaboration. And I'm so great. I mean, everyone, I'm so grateful for every woman who
I love it.
contributed to this.
I have to read this comment to you, and it says, "This book is amazing. I love the idea of the OB-GYNs giving them the tools to the young women." I totally concur. I just came to me. Jessica and I had about a 45-minute conversation a day on my porch. It was so cool, guys. Now that was just for us, because if anybody knows Galveston, Texas, it is not hot, it's hot. But it was so cool on my porch. We enjoyed our conversation. I think really until the end, it started getting a little warm. But yeah, that's true. The OB-GYNs need to do this. I would suggest, and I'll say it again, any OB-GYN doctor please recommend the book. Please hold the book up, Jessica. I want people to look at this book. This is a book that, again, I will reiterate this. If I had this book, even though I was blessed to have a parent that took the time and told me what to expect, so I didn't go into total shock or pass out or think I was in the middle of a crisis of dying. But, even with that, it would have helped me be brave, determined. What's the other I am? And what I like about the I am, guys, I'm telling you, I don't want to give the book up because I do want people to take time and purchase it. But after you have a positive I am, which one is this? Gracious. After you see the I am and whatever that action word, that affectionate word, that word that gives you that positivity, then you have a whole page that's with lines that says I am. I love it. Well put together book, perfectly put together. Let me tell you something else that stands out. Creative space. I told you I love the reflections, but the creative space. This is a page for you to just take time and think about, what does that mean? I am gracious. What does that mean? I am brave. What does that mean that I am determined? My creative space. I love it.
Yeah, and I really have to give it up to my editor. So I had all this stuff and I had designed it and everything, but it was kind of in different pieces. And she took a look at it and she was looking at it and she said, "Jessica, I want you to just trust me. And if you'll give it to me, I will put it where it needs to go." And I said, "Okay." And she was like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, because at this point, I'm like, I don't know what else to do with it, right? Like I've been working on it for 2 years. I'm not really sure what, like, I think it's beautiful, but I can't figure out what order." And she just was so amazing. And she did a lot of really amazing things with this. And she came up with a creative space. And let me tell you about that picture. So that's a former student of mine. Her name is Krista, who is, she is now doing her apprenticeship for tattoo artists. So she's going to be a tattoo artist, and she makes the most beautiful art. I've seen it since she was in my class doodling.
Wow.
And I would say, "Krista, you need to be doing your work, not doodling." And but a lot of times I would just let her doodle because her art was so beautiful. And so I reached out to her after
it's next to self-care.
Yeah, I reached out to her after I had seen this piece, and I really want to include this in my book. And she
go ahead and put up the first period party. Yeah, see, my green screen would just refuse to allow us to be great. There it is. Good.
And this is Dr. Hernandez
together.
Yeah, so there's 3 stories. And letters and 3 poems and all the things.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Everything about I want to go back to the health of the body because we had this conversation earlier when we were on a cool porch in Galveston, Texas. I think you and I need to definitely document that in our journals. That was just a perfect setting for us today to discuss the book. But one of the things that you and I talked about was we talked about a lot, but hygiene, but health of a person, self-care. But one of the things that you mentioned was we've got to exercise.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you about a person that was really having a lot of cramps, and the nurse said, get them up, make them walk. And I thought, wow. But then it made me have a memory. That's why I say reflections, that when I was in track, when I would run, I didn't have any type of complications, less bleeding. So, kind of elaborate on what you learned about the importance of within the self care of exercise, walking, doing something positive.
Well, yeah, I think we're told that we're supposed to be in pain and cuddle
Mm,
up on the couch and eat junk food, right? Like, oh, you're on your period. And in a perfect world, maybe we would have some of that time off. But the reality is that when you have a job and you have school, there isn't that time.
yeah,
And so I think the message really needs to be like no, you shouldn't be eating chips and chocolate and all these
yeah,
things that could cause more acne. Like if you're prone to acne when you're on your period, then it's going to make it worse. No, you shouldn't be cuddled on the couch. You should be taking a walk. You should be eating foods that feed the flow. That's what I call it, feeding the flow,
reading the flow. Yeah, so I did mention that.
because we need to take care. Like the self-care is more about choosing to take care of your body
Yes,
is taking a bubble bath or doing those things, and I'm all for those things, so don't get me wrong, I'm all for taking the rest time that you need and all of
absolutely.
it. But instead of feeding this idea of like junk food and sleeping constantly, we should be talking about walking, running, exercising, and eating the right foods to
Yes,
help
absolutely.
lessen the
Wow. I was just thinking as you were speaking, misconceptions that we have for a woman's menstrual cycle. You've again made it more personable, but not embarrassing at all. I even like the part where it goes into the summer madness, and then there's my sticky notes I love. How often have we asked another lady, hey, excuse me, do you have a pad? I don't care if I know her. If we're in that lady's restroom and we're at a restaurant or somewhere and you needed a pad or you needed a tampon, you asked.
yeah.
That's a universal thing that we all have to deal with.
One of the sticky notes says like carry an extra pad in case somebody needs it. Are you still there?
Yes, I am. I apologize. I just hit the wrong button out of the excitement of of you talking. Just
I was
just
like, I don't know what to do.
no. You're fine. You're fine. I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledged, that's universal. But go ahead, continue what you were saying.
No, I mean, and like I said, that's just one of the sticky notes that says like, carry an extra pad, and
Yeah,
one of the sticky notes
serious.
is like, don't wear white pants. Like it's like one of those things. Like
Yeah,
things happen, and
yes.
it's gonna be
And
okay.
I must acknowledge Miss Erin Lee. She is really putting in. She can be in the comment streets as long as she likes on the
So
Simply Free Little
Erin,
Talk. I love
Erin
it.
wrote a letter, and she's my editor, and she
Oh,
says
Erin, you're amazing. She says, yes, this is what it's really all about: true self care, holistic wellness, foods, movement, mindset, self love, and female community and connections. She was on the porch with us, but we didn't know
yes. And
because
let me tell
that's exactly word for word, almost verbatim, that you and our discussion entailed. Oh my God.
Erin did magic with this book. Like she they call her the book doula. Like she says she births books, and I'm really excited that she helped me with this one, and I look forward to working with her
Yes.
so much more because she really brings out the best, and is also she was so encouraging at times when I was like, what am I even doing? Why am I doing this? Is
Wow.
anybody going to read it? All the doubts that come in, like the imposter syndrome and the
Yes.
And just all the things she would just say, no, this is amazing. You just wait. It's going to be great. And literally, I mean, the way it's put together now is perfect.
Everything about this book, everything. I even like that you say how to use the following pages, and it's going into the year of tracking. The instructions, and I guess I'm in love with it because I'm such an instructional person. I love to follow step A to step B because I had a great uncle that said if you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it the second time or the third time. You know, if you get it right the first time, then you can move forward. So that helps me with instructional learning, and this being an avid reader, constantly learning what to do. So this book is absolutely perfect. Perfect. What did Aaron say? She says your content, your dreams, your book, baby, beautiful. Thank you. Me too. Yeah, the sister. I love it. You know, and think about it. Let's just put myself out here for a second. Less than 3 hours, guys. I got everything that Aaron and Jessica have been working on for how long?
2 years.
For 2 years. So that means it's an easy reader. And everything that I said concerning this book, I experienced in less than 3 hours of just reading it. And I'm telling you, it's effective. That's the other part. It's effective. It has a purpose and it's fulfilling the purpose. The concept, I get it. I get it.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for making it possible. And again, I'm glad you're on the show. So in closing, what are you doing Saturday? Tell everybody what you're doing Saturday. I get my book signed on Saturday. I told her don't sign my book today.
I am so excited. We are going to be down at Lady Brown's boutique.
Yes.
On 25th and Market. Lady Brown has been a huge supporter of all of my creative work. I have journals and some greeting cards and now this book, and she's been a huge supporter. So me and Felicia French, who has written Sis, You Are the Universe, and she, I believe, is going to be on your show Wednesday.
Yes.
And artist
will be here Wednesday.
Yeah. And artist Amber Donald will all be there for the art stroll. And we'll be signing books, and Amber will be doing art, and we'll probably have some wine and some food, and you know, it's going to be just
right there partaking of this amazing day, this day that is going to be written in history as a great day, because I have been told, I'm going to find out from Miss Felicia French about her book on Wednesday, but your book, I know I can't wait to bring my book so that you can sign over to me. Just sign your beautiful name. It's a book signing. I want to be a part of it. So I say, please don't sign my book today. Thank you for not writing in it today. But it's a beautiful book, and I'm going to be reading more about it between now and Saturday and have even more of an excitement about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you've told us how to take care of ourselves. I do want to go back to the hygiene part, because a lot of times, unfortunately, we walk in a restroom, as you said, public restrooms, and we can smell that smell of a woman on her menstrual cycle. Mm-hmm. And I want to see what we can do to help stop that. There's so many products that you mentioned in the book that we need to encourage others to use. Like I said earlier, application is the key. So you guys have well done. Aaron, outstanding. Outstanding, Jessica. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. And all of the ladies. There's so many ladies that, and that's another thing. She is selfless. She didn't say, oh, I did this. You know, she gives credit to every person that had a hand. I did this earlier so you can see. Every person that had any importation, any hand in composing this book, she gives them credit. She acknowledges what they've done. She spoke very candid about their connection, what they brought to the table, and I'm just so grateful for that. Yes.
And any of them,
she lives in Virginia. She hates. Well, come on, honey. The tickets. You can come on.
Any of them at the bottom of their letters, if they do art, or they have their websites, their Instagrams, whatever they tell me to put on there, I put on there. So
I love it. I love it. And that's why, so we can actually look up all the people, the individuals, that actually had something to do with this book.
Yeah, if you connect with
I love it.
And you can a lot of them have really great content on their Instagram,
I believe
and I wanted people, if they felt a connection to them, to be able to follow them and see what else they're all about, you know?
Yeah, I saw that I did notice that at the bottom where it says they're Twitter or the TikTok or Facebook, and that's important too. We have to give credit where credit is due. So without any further delay, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you both and all of the collaborators of this amazing book that I'm going to say again, it should be purchased. This would not be an act of a wasted purchase. This would be a great investment into the lives of the patients of an OB-GYN doctor. That's just
I'm going
my
to tell you
thought.
that
Mm-hmm.
10%. So they are $25. They're
Okay.
very expensive to print because they're full color, right?
Yes.
But 10%
Well put
goes
together.
to a period advocacy charity. So
Oh,
we haven't decided on which one yet, but that's where 10% of the
I
proceeds.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love that it's I am knowledgeable. I am joyous. You have so many I ams, and see that touched my heart. That's really stood out to me first. You know that. Then the instructions, then the reflections, and of course, what pains or unusual things that you felt. I'm like, wow, if somebody would have asked me that, then I wouldn't have been dealing with all the medical issues and things that I did as a female. And a
Right.
lot of other females deal with because nobody was tracking.
Right.
Wow. This is a needed book, but the conversation itself, the menstrual cycle, we don't want to talk about that.
And
But
we should, because it's really 50% of the population has had one, will have one, or
yes,
has one right now. And it should just be something that is easy to talk about and
it
not
should
be
be.
ashamed of.
You've made it easy for us. You made it an opportunity for us to continuously do a self evaluation of our bodies and embrace our bodies in a positive light. So I know it was embarrassing to my age group, but not anymore with this book. So thank you again and again and again. And I look forward to Saturday, guys. They're having an art walk with Amber Donald. They're having a 360 machine. There's food and there's drinks. She said wine. I'm there. And of course, the book signing with Felicia French, as well as, did I say Felicia? Phyllis.
Felicia French.
Felicia
Felicia.
French. And Miss Jessica. I hate this green screen when it doesn't want to act right. Yes, hold that book up. It's beautiful. First Moon Manual. Outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. I
Thank
can't
you.
say that enough. I need everyone to like, to share, to follow, subscribe. Follow Miss Jessica. Get your book. $25 is this is well worth more than that. That's why I'm stressing that an OB-GYN doctor's office should invest. This is an investment.
Yeah.
High schools, an investment. Middle schools, investment. Any school system would be remiss without this investment. It should be the school boards not sitting as figureheads, but make a decision and say, this is educational. We need this. This is bringing back health, education into the school system
Yeah.
for our youth to know their bodies, to understand their bodies. If I was in that decision making, I wouldn't be a figurehead. I would be a decision maker. And that would be a great, wise decision. So thank you again. Any parting words of wisdom? Because this whole book is total wisdom, total wisdom nuggets. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that my favorite thing is women lifting women. I'm very excited to be part of such an amazing group of women. I was able to meet and connect with so many people who had so much to offer, and I'm really excited about this movement that I think we're starting to be a part of. It's just
I love it.
the supportive. There's enough for everyone, and we all get to celebrate and be there for each other.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just not try to piggyback off of your wonderful wisdom. But again, Aaron says, amazing self-investment. It is.
Mhm.
It has everything a female needs, from the youngest to the eldest. We don't want to say oldest. But thank you again for coming on a Simply Free Little Talk for Galveston feature. This is Galveston's own, guys. We have to support her. So Saturday, please come out to Lady Brown's Boutique, 2501 Market Street in Galveston, Texas. Join the art walk. Join the book signing that you will never ever forget. It's going to be great. So
Yeah.
come
Thank
out.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much. You
you
have
so
a
much.
blessed day, Jessica. We're going to
You
sign off together. Thank you for tuning in again to Simply Free Little Talk. We want you to hit replay. We want you to let someone like and share, follow. Please purchase this book. Purchase it, purchase it, purchase it. Follow Jessica on Facebook and any other social platforms. You see this beautiful lady and purchase the book. Invest in your daughter, invest in your niece. You have females in your family. That's all I need to say. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Bye.